Hello and welcome to the Tech Capital's LATAM Finance Forum in São Paulo. I'm now joined by Marcos Peigo, CEO and co-founder of Scala Data Centers. And Marcos, welcome to our first gig in South America.
And welcome to my country.
Yeah. How are you finding the conference so far?
Great. I'll tell you, we should move London to here. Yeah. Let's make the global in Brazil.
Well, maybe one day actually.
But I was really excited about seeing how crowded was our audience, how diverse in terms of investors, operators, customers, and etc., which is a real sign that your franchise is thriving, and I'm happy to support that as well.
No, pleased as well. I mean, one thing that we actually have in common, it's almost how long we've been going on with our businesses. So I mean, Tech Capital's just turned 4 years, you've just turned 5 years,
yes.
So you started in 2020. When you started it back then, in the middle of the pandemic, do you think this was going to grow as much? And by saying as much, I mean, you've got a presence in 7 countries, or 4 countries. So 4 countries, 6.1 gigawatts of pipelines development, with some of it already built.
Yes.
You've got 13 data centers, you've already invested $2.4 billion. I mean, 5 years ago, did you dream of this? Or it's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to build something 50 megawatts and that's it?
Remember that despite the fact that we launched the company in April 2020, we decided to make these investments back in 2019, before the pandemic. So our underwriting case was completely different. It was not only on the demand, but also on the challenge that we were forced to face to develop this company. Our underwriting case was for 55 megawatts by 2028. We ended 24 before completing 5 years with 160 megawatts. We have now 220 megawatts under development and a pipeline that exceeds 1 gigawatt. We grew this company, shifting our business plan from the traditional transition from enterprise to hyperscale to a full hyperscale. That was a shift. By doing this, we moved from the traditional Colo, where you build a facility, you split the facility in small pieces and you sell that to several customers, and then when you reach around 70-80% of occupation, you go to the next one. We decided to say to the market, we are a hyperscale provider, period. We don't sell enterprise racks, we don't sell colocation. We are moving from the shared facilities to single tenant facilities, so we can be more tailored design for hyperscales, looking for the future-proof, higher densities, ever evolving densities, etc. With this, we shifted from single sites to campuses, and that's why our numbers grew so much. So when we spoke about 10 megawatt sites, now is a collection of 10 megawatts buildings in a 100 megawatt campus at least. This is the part for me that is material. It's something that we are working now with short-term pipeline, mid-term pipeline. But in addition to that, the same factors that with the catalyst, the pandemic acted as a catalyst for the cloud. AI improves that in a way that you also showed we also saw in the world constraints in the grid in US, for example. And then when you look that you need 20 gigawatts of power in US for the next decade, we have 12 gigawatts ready to go in Brazil for transmission, 6 gigawatts being generated without a customer to consume. So we started seeing that opportunity to transform Brazil into a global AI, a global hub for AI workloads. And that's when the second part of our portfolio that now sums almost 7 gigawatts. So 1.6 gigawatts is what we work for the local demands. And we have this, what I call dream portfolio, which is all about transforming this country and this region into a global hub for AI workloads.
And we will get into it, but what, beyond energy, what are the main things that Brazil can contribute to the global play? How can you develop all this? On the energy front, we know there's a lot of energy in Brazil. Brazil is huge when it comes to renewable energy, but beyond the energy, what else makes Brazil a destination, an AI factory destination, for example?
Yeah, I think let's look for Brazil, but also for Latin America. We have access through the Pacific, through Chile. We have the Atlantic. We have Fortaleza as a place with all the subsea cables coming to Brazil. Old ones that are going to be replaced in the following 5 to 10 years, but it's there. You have the south part of the country where you have favorable climate and weather. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have hurricanes, and so we have a geographical stability. We are seeing now, after 2 years of educating the government, legislators, and etc., we see the ecosystem as a whole looking for these opportunities as something that is feasible, that can be reached, and working collectively to have. So I think it will be a combination of competitiveness, proven engineering, and capabilities to deliver. We have a very large history with big infrastructure projects because Brazil is a big country, is a continent. We have banks and financial sponsors use it to support big infrastructure. So when you think that the data center industry is like the intersection between the predictability of big infrastructure, real estate projects, zero vacancy, AAA customers, and etc., but that grows at the height of the tech, that's where the money wants to be. And I'm sure that we can capture this in the country with this collective effort that the industry and governments are making.
Yeah. It is definitely very interesting to see what's happening here. I mean, we read and wrote a lot about Brazil in the last couple of years, but now being here and seeing the people in the room, like you were saying, and seeing what everyone is doing, especially off the stage, because that's where you have the real conversations, it's incredible what's happening in this country. When we look into Scala, what's the plan for the next 12 months? What are you going to be developing? Because right now you've built about 200 megawatts.
200.
And that's $2.4 billion US so far.
$2.4 billion US dollars plus this land bank.
Yeah. So what's the portfolio going to look like in 12 months' time? So actual operational portfolio. I know we can talk about.
If you take our CAGR, we would be at 300 to 400 megawatts by the end of next year. We have short-term and mid-term pipeline for that, but I think our focus now is on delivering everything that we have sold to our customers, developing these big campuses, so we are working with the power interconnection, the urbanization of the lots, and etc. And we are fighting this fight to transform, to capture the AI opportunity, which is about planning the country. I think different than many of my competitors and fellow colleagues, we don't see Scala as just an opportunist company that goes seeking for bookings. We plan the region. So when you consider that we deployed our first data center in Curalma, close to the Humboldt cable, it was 3 years ago. The Humboldt cable is a reality only this year when Google decided to have the sponsorship over that. We are there already with a data center in production connecting the west coast of US. So when we see this, we really see that we have this, our purpose is to enable the future, and we really live by that purpose. So we are planning the region. We are preparing also for the inference workloads that will come. So we are not just talk about training workloads, but also inference. And so there are all the regional workloads that we are planning to capture with this development. And it's about consolidating the company. See, Scala reached more than 1,000 employees because we decided back during the pandemic that we would need to have everything internalized because the market was not ready for that. Imagine, today you can see all these people in the room, but 5 years ago there was no one in the room. There was no market. It was 100 megawatts market. So we decided to internalize, and we kind of created our own engineering company, our own real estate structure, our own power structure. Now we are rebalancing this because we know that the market has evolved. So we are consolidating our business, delivering to our commitments to our customers, and investing big in shifting the company from the cloud workloads to the AI workloads big time. I think that is the goal for the next 12 months.
Okay, and then just a brief mention of non-Brazil projects, because you're also present in Mexico, Chile, and Colombia. Very briefly, what's the plan for those three markets, and what other markets are you going to go into?
In our regional planning, Mexico was the second country. Given all the constraints on the power grids, the political instability, and etc., we brought Chile first. We are now deploying, we have Curalma in production. We are now deploying 2 other sites in Lampa and Huechuraba in the Santiago area. Those projects are contracted by hyperscales launching new regions. So we are making our first big hyperscale deployment. They are planned to go live by the end of this year, early next year. And then it's about consolidating our expertise as an operator in Chile as well. We are consolidating now. We had the experience on developing permits, land and power. Now it's about building. And then it's about operating. I think that's the evolution. So, but I see we have big plans for Chile. We have the largest campus ever permitted in Chile with 120 megawatts, which is very large for the standards of the country back then. Mexico, we have a small site close to Mexico DF to offer as a more up-to-date alternative for customers with workloads delivered in Mexico DF. Colombia is a place that we decided to put on hold. We have the sites, we have the power, we have the permits, we have even inventory ready to go there, but it's a country that we didn't saw all the traction that we expected yet. We are ready to be there when available, but today it's all about Brazil.
Whatever happens, you're going to be very busy, no matter the geography.
Yes, that's it.
Final question. We are at this year's Tech Capital's LATAM Finance Forum. When we come back here in 12 months' time to São Paulo again, what's the one thing you would like to happen market-wise?
All the framework that the government promised us and the industry to implement, we have solved or addressed with the federal government the tax cut on importation of computing capacity that goes into the data centers. That will reduce the importation taxes from roughly 60% to 20%. There are still ongoing conversations with the states to reduce to zero the remaining portion of that. That's the second battle. And then the third battle is about data privacy. How can we work to converge the local data privacy framework to support international workloads? I really expect to have clarity in this matter solved so it can be perceived by our customers and by other players, not just as a country that is aspiring to offer this, but with the full package combining infrastructure, power, renewables, and regulatory framework that will enable for big deployment. So I really expect to come and announce a gigawatt contract, not just a gigawatt portfolio of land and power.
We need clarity and deliverance. And that's actually not something exclusive to Brazil. There's a lot of countries that need that.
And maybe again with the America's Leader Award that I got in London with that capital. Maybe we're going to make the award here next year.
Well. But Marcos Peigo, CEO and co-founder of Scala Data Centers, thank you so much for talking to me. As for your home, thank you for watching, and do check our website and social media channels for the latest digital infrastructure news from across the globe. At the Tech Capital, you lead, we report. Bye for now.